Earlier today, SAG-AFTRA voted to authorize a strike for its 160,000 members. This is the first time since 1986 that SAG-AFTRA has been on strike, and it is also the first time since 1960 when two guilds, the Writers Guild and SAG, have been on strike at the same time. At that time, Ronald Reagan was the head of SAG, so it's been a while. I'm David Chen. I talk about movies, TV, tech, and the media, and I watched SAG-AFTRA's whole press conference today. I wanted to summarize what I saw. Let's talk about it. SAG-AFTRA gave a press conference announcing a strike today, which was mostly led by two people, Fran Drescher, the president of SAG-AFTRA, as well as Duncan Crabtree Ireland, who's managing contract negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, or AMPTP. From what I can tell, two of the biggest sticking points in these negotiations are, number one, residuals, and number two, the use of AI. It used to be that actors would spend a long time looking for work and not making any money, but if a show was successful, they would be guaranteed residual payments that would keep them afloat until their next project. What we've learned in the streaming economy is many people aren't even told how well their shows are doing, and even if they're doing well, they're not being paid accordingly. There's also, of course, the use of AI and deepfake technology. Actors want to retain their likeness rights, and studios are more open to experimenting with what technology might bring. The biggest thing I took away from this press conference today was how angry Fran Drescher is. Fran Drescher is a brand ambassador for Dolce & Gabbana. She is not a radical leftist by any means, but she was super pissed by how producers have been treating her. Here's a cut from some of the more fiery moments from today's press conference.
If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. I am shocked by the way the people that we have been in business with are treating us. I cannot believe it, quite frankly. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines. But you know what? Eventually, the people break down the gates of Versailles, and then it's over. Well, we're at that moment right now.
One of the details that really rankled me was that the contract was originally supposed to expire at the end of June, but they extended it by 12 days. And the hope was that they could come closer to the center and compromise on both the producers as well as the actor's position. But apparently that didn't happen at all, according to this clip.
In earnest, we gave them an extension of 12 days, which they absolutely wasted, making us feel like we've been duped. Like maybe it was just to let studios promote their summer movies another 12 days. They stayed locked behind closed doors. They continued to cancel our meetings with them. We thought, well, maybe they're really getting into it. But then what we ultimately received from them was what my mom would call a leck and a schmeck.
When you, the producers, have made the nanny someone who's mad as hell not going to take it anymore, someone who's comparing this to the storming of Versailles, then I think you've really messed up, I gotta say. One component of the SAG-AFTRA press conference that's making a lot of headlines is what the producers proposed about AI. The AMPTP said they had put forward a groundbreaking AI proposal which protects performers' digital likenesses, including a requirement for performers' consent for the creation and use of digital replicas or for digital alterations of a performance. That seems pretty good, but here's what Duncan Crabtree Ireland had to say about what the producers actually proposed.
In that groundbreaking AI proposal, they proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get paid for 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation. So if you think that's a groundbreaking proposal, I suggest you think again.
That's pretty dystopian, and if it was put in place, it would negatively impact a lot of people's livelihoods as well as their professional careers. I fully support the actors, I fully support the writers. They're the people who are actually creating the things that we love, creating the things that define our culture. It seems to me that radical changes in the way these deals are structured is going to be needed in order for Hollywood to move forward. All that said, you're probably wondering, how is the SAG-AFTRA strike going to impact you as a viewer? A few big ways. First of all, there were movies and TV shows that were in production with completed scripts. Those will have to stop now because the actors can't work. Specifically, movies like Deadpool 3, which I actually think is a blessing in disguise because I don't think you want to make a Deadpool movie where writers can't work on it. Some shows will be able to continue production like House of the Dragon, which largely has UK-based actors. The fall movie season is also going to be significantly impacted. It's usually a really big time for Hollywood. There's some big festivals like Venice and Toronto Film Festival. Those festivals rely on actors showing up, walking the red carpet, giving interviews, and promoting their movies in advance of the award season. But actors will no longer be able to promote studio projects from this point forward. There's going to be cascading impacts for this throughout the fall. SAG-AFTRA has released a list of activities that members are prohibited from participating in. That includes things like tours, interviews, conventions, and so on. This means no actors at Comic-Con, no actors doing press junkets, no actors on late night talk shows, which aren't happening anyway because of the writer's strike. So things are going to get pretty quiet around Hollywood, but the real impact won't be felt for months months, if not years down the line, because the shows and movies that we're watching today were things that were put in motion years ago. So depending on how long this strike lasts, at some point in the near to distant future, there's going to be a big gap. As a viewer and a commentator, it's going to be challenging, but the people in SAG, the people in the WGA, they are fighting for the future of their professions and their livelihoods. I support them. I hope you will too. I'm David Chen. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving me a like, follow, and subscribe. Thanks.